Hey you guys, Just a Tip Tuesday is here. This one is really exciting. We're going to be covering all of these things around overeating. I don't know if you guys just saw that, so don't be alarmed if I scream or squeal or disappear and hide under the table. There is like a massive thunderstorm right now, and I hate thunderstorms. I know I'm like meant to be this person that can handle anything, and people are shocked when I tell them that, but it is like grumbling thunder and the lightning keeps flashing and I'm terrified. So just bear with me. I'm trying to keep focused and keep on track here. So now that we have that out of the way, and you guys will know why my attention keeps going out there if it does, I wanted to dive right into this one. So Just a Tip Tuesday, 6 ways to avoid overeating. And the biggest reason that I wanted to talk about this is because often when we're on track with our health goals and we've figured out some meal planning and nutrition, it can be really difficult when we don't see the results. And sometimes that is not because of the wrong foods that you're eating. Sometimes it can just be because you're overeating. And there are a number of reasons why we do that. And I just wanted to provide 6 tips for you so that you can keep it in mind and make some changes there. Because often people say to me, you know what, if you looked at everything that I was eating, you would wonder why I'm overweight. I hear this quite commonly. And in my opinion, that can be 2 things. So it can be that we're actually not eating enough, or that we're overeating. So there is a sweet spot that you want to find there, and this is going to help you determine that and find that out for you. So I'm really excited to be doing this Just a Tip Tuesday. There is a full article which dives into a lot more detail on each of these topics, so I'll post the link below in the comments for that. But so far you guys have been loving these Just a Tip Tuesdays, so keep sending me your feedback on those. It's really helpful, and I'm glad that it can be a really tangible way for you to get some information and do something with it, versus I feel like a lot of the fitness and health information out there these days, it's really information overload, and then we're left not sure what to do because we're overwhelmed to a point. Okay, so Just a Tip Tuesday, 6 ways to avoid overeating. The first one is snack in between meals. Now, we have been programmed or told or taught to eat 3 big meals a day. But I lean more towards the 3 smaller meals with regular snacks in between. This is going to mean when we actually get to a meal, we're not so hungry and starving, especially if we're eating out. This can lead us to make some bad food choices when we're just so hungry and we feel like we need to just order the quickest thing and often the biggest thing to satisfy that hunger. And so snacking between meals will keep that metabolism in check. It will keep it working, but it will also mean that we're never at the point where we're so hungry, where we're overeating, overdoing it because we were put in that position and we were just it's like a last resort almost, and it just leads to some bad food decisions as well. Lots of convenient foods just to quickly fill us up. So if we, when you're developing your plans and when you're developing your routines, consider the snacks. Don't just focus on those 3 meals you're going to eat. Incorporate some healthy snacks in there. So things like veggies dipped in hummus, nuts, seeds, rice cakes with spreads on them, whole wheat toast. Think about these snacks that are actually going to provide some nutritional content, and then try and get those into your week in any way that you can, between breakfast and lunch and between lunch and dinner. So there's lots of articles on my blog, if you check that out, that have some healthy snack ideas, lots of home cooked energy balls and things like that. So I definitely recommend checking that out as well while you're over there reading this one. Number 2, only eat your portion. So I'm not a huge believer or a promoter in this portion size diets out there. Some people like to go for they'll buy smaller plates, and this is how they eat smaller portions. I'm not necessarily talking about that, because I myself have a big appetite. I like to eat a big plate of food, but what I specifically mean by this is only eating your portion that's on your plate. So for example, if you're out for dinner and you get your plate, eat your portion and try and avoid, reaching over the table and polishing off everybody else's. Also in regards to this, if you're out and it's like a potluck style or it's a party, have your plate, load it up with all of your things that you want, and then use that as a really good way to gauge, you know what, this is my plate of food, take your time to eat it, but then trying to avoid the continuous back and forth, filling up the plate again, and, you know, overdoing it, overeating, and just feeling like we need to continually put that in our body. So if you just focus on your portions in that way, don't necessarily think, oh, I need to go on a diet, I can't eat big food portions, I need to cut back. Just think like when you make your portion, be okay with that and mentally tell yourself, this is going to be what I eat tonight, and that's that. So when I was trying to lose weight, this was something that I really struggled with. I like huge servings, like I was saying. So I would have one giant serving, but I have this like scarce mentality, so I would like go back and think that I wasn't going to eat again, and I'd go back again for a third plate, a fourth plate, and I was definitely overdoing it. I wasn't hungry at this point, and I just kept loading up the plate, and it just left me to overeat. And then in the morning I just would feel crappy, and you know, there's a whole series of things that we can talk about that are a result of the overeating, but at the end of the day, I really recommend just like being okay with your portion size and knowing that that's that, and giving your time to giving your brain time to actually know that it's had food, and your stomach time to feel full. The third tip for Just the Tip Tuesday, eat with fewer distractions. So I know a lot of my clients and a lot of people that I speak to, their routine at night is to, you know, maybe grab something from the store on the way home, or maybe they cook a quick dinner, but then they sit down in front of the TV and they're just mindlessly eating. This can, you know, we think that we need to eat towards the end of the show, so even if we're feeling full, we'll just keep putting that food in. It actually takes away some of the sensors and the sensory that we have around food, because our mind is just like consumed elsewhere. We're watching something, we're not really taking in the smells, the taste, and it's just that whole experience is a little bit different, and it's very easy to overeat when we're not really focusing on our food. And I guarantee you guys, if you do eat with fewer distractions, so let's say that sitting down at the dinner table, you can have some music on, like it doesn't have to be completely boring, but getting off those phones and getting away from that TV, the techie stuff, let's try and eliminate that from our meal times and watch how different your food tastes. I would have told you that I thought this was complete BS before I started doing it, but I can assure you that it does make a difference. Your food tastes better, you have a whole new appreciation for it. So try and remove that technology and all those distractions during your meal time. You'll find that you actually enjoy the whole thing more, and then you feel full, you know when to stop eating versus just that mindless overeating. So that's a really good one. The fourth one, so protein, I talk about this a lot, and you can also jump the link below in the comments to my free protein ebook. As women mainly, I see this, that we're not eating enough protein. Protein helps us feel full, and it also helps us maintain that lean body mass so that we can continue to burn calories at the best rate. I really hope that you guys can hear this. It's like the most terrifying storm, and I love that you're here with me, so keep watching. But yes, so protein, it helps you feel full. It's one of the biggest things that I see when people start incorporating into their weekly meal plans or whatever they're following. If you're tracking your macronutrients, protein is something that it's really hard for women to hit the required level of protein to be eating, but it does make you feel full. So then you're finding that you actually, you know, when you're going to work out, you have the energy that you need, and you're fueling your body with the protein to help you build that lean muscle. So protein is something that I definitely recommend getting more of in your diet. It will help you from overeating, because you will be feeling full. You're not eating these like empty foods that don't have nutrients in them, that aren't making you feel satisfied. So great sources of protein, things like cottage cheese. If you're into shakes, you can have a protein shake. Beans, lentils, nuts, all these things are loaded with protein. So I really recommend getting those into your diet and just trying out ways you can incorporate them into your meals, and you will notice that you feel a bit more full and you'll be less likely to overeat. Okay guys, getting towards the end of it. two left. So tip number 5, eat slowly. It takes a little bit of time for the signals to go to our brain and then also to go fire down to our stomach so that we actually feel like we're full. So I really recommend eating slowly. 10 to 30 minutes is usually the amount of time it takes for us to start feeling that full feeling. So if we're just like shoving food into our mouth quicker than we're even chewing it, we're likely to overeat because we think that we're still hungry. This kind of all ties in together. So if you picture what I was talking about earlier, where you have your food portion, you have your plate, if you're eating with few distractions and you're, eating slowly, then all of this plays together to make you feel full, to make you feel satisfied, for your food to taste better, and then you are less likely to overeat. So that's a really good one. Just take your time, slow it down. And before you even dive into your meal, I always recommend taking a little bit of time just to look at your plate, smell your food maybe, and while you're chewing it, think about what that taste you're experiencing. It doesn't need to be rocket science. I'm not asking for these huge, life-changing things. These are great little tips that you can implement into your life with no huge hassle, and they're going to help you from avoiding that overeating that we often get into. The last one, you guys, so number 6 for Just a Tip Tuesday is eat a little bit less of those processed foods. So those processed foods can be tricky. They send signals to make us actually crave and think that we want more and more. And so it can be really easy when we're eating these processed foods to overeat. When we're eating nutrient-dense foods, lots of whole foods, our bodies just love those. So they know what to do with them. They know how to process them. They know how to turn what into waste, and we just can perform at that higher state when we're giving our body what it actually wants and what it needs. When we're eating these highly processed foods, they can play tricks on our internal system essentially. So you can feel more hungry, your cravings can be there, your blood pressure can spike. There's a whole series of things that when we eat these highly processed foods happen in our body. And so I'm definitely not saying that you have to cut all of them out, but a lot of these packaged foods, try and, if you're having a meal, let's say you're making dinner, maybe try and have some whole foods on the plate. So veggies, things without labels, things without like the nutritional content listed on the side there, in boxes, in sealed things. Try and incorporate that into your food and onto your plate. And then if you want some processed foods, like put that, by all means, put that on there, but just try and limit your intake of it so that you aren't tricking your body into feeling like it needs more food, feeling like it's really hungry, feeling like it's not satisfied, and that you need more and more and more. So that is my recommendation on the processed foods. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love chips. I love sweets and treats and cakes and donuts and all that good stuff. I'm not saying get rid of it, but just try and start to think about the intake, especially at your main meals. Think about how much of that main meal is made up of something that's coming out of a box or coming out of a packet. So we made it through the thunderstorm. I feel like there are now sirens going around and maybe there's lightning that's striking places. So everybody, please stay safe and stay dry out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Just a Tip Tuesday. I'll post a link below. Please feel free, if there were any tips in this video that you think your friends or your family would benefit from, hit that share button. That would mean a lot to me. I will be back here next Tuesday, but until then, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.